right, so what's good? We're back for another episode of Beyond Bars, episode 2. With me today, I got a very special guest and a starting slash core member of popular Cali group AG Club. I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself and basically, let the people know who you are, what kind of music you make, your hometown, all that kind of good stuff.
What's up, y'all? It's Louis. I appreciate you guys for having me on here. I appreciate you for having me on here. Louis from the Bay, representing. Yeah,
What's that? Thank you for fucking coming today, like I'm saying.
of
Um,
course.
so we're gonna be talking about just a brief breakdown of stuff today. So I'm thinking of talking about, singles, projects, new releases, what we got in the future. Obviously, the connection to AG Club, which I think is kind of the elephant in the room, and a lot of people might want to get a little bit of context on as well.
Uh-huh.
But just basically to start and get the questions going, when did you basically start either making beats or having an interest in music? Because I know in Nobody, when you have that reference, for those of y'all out there who don't know, make sure you're streaming Nobody, real popular track from this guy. You was talking about you started writing raps at 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I started writing music when I was really young. My mom and basically my whole family is musicians. So it's
Mhm.
like it kind of just in the family. And so it's everybody does music, so it was just around me. But they all are into like Latin music. So when I started doing like hip hop and like rap, like it wasn't really supportive. But then, yeah, back then. But then when shit started popping off, like they were definitely supportive. But yeah, I started making music at a very young age. I first started just writing raps. Like I was writing raps first. And then I couldn't find any beats like on YouTube. Like I would go on YouTube and try to find a cool beat, and I couldn't find any. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own beats. And I started making beats on my iPhone, on
Right.
GarageBand. This is before AG, before anything, before anybody was anybody. You know what I'm saying? Before we really even started anything. So I was just making beats on my iPhone, and then I just kept making music like that. And then I just kept pushing, and then I met some people, and then it just kept growing from there. Yeah.
Right, because you was even saying in the track too, 13 started making tracks and then talking about taking your stepdad's mic, right, to try and get little
Oh
tracks in
yeah.
there and then deleting them right after.
Yeah. My stepdad had like a studio in the house because he was like a big producer, like, and he liked doing it. So I would steal his mic and then like talk over the mic, and record. And a lot of the like early like everything was recorded on that, like on his shit. And he doesn't even know, like to this day, he doesn't even know. Like, because I would just put it back, and like all the early shows too, like I would steal or like I would use all of his shit, like all his mic stands and all his mics, and he never knew. But I mean, like, I'm, you just kind of gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at that
Yeah.
point, did you even have it in mind of like, I could really do something like this and really branch out and start expanding? Or at that point, was it just, the love for the music and just wanting to get into it and getting started with the creation process?
Yeah, it was. I'll never do this shit for like money or for like accolades or nothing. Like I
Yeah,
just truly like, I like in my heart, like I just feel like I love music, and like I love doing this shit. Like the feeling of like press and play, like after hearing the song that you made, and like you feel like you did a good job on it, like that's unbeatable. Like that's the best feeling in the world to me. So yeah. I mean, I never did it to like be famous or like get hella money. I just did it because I loved it. Try to make the best music I could make. Yeah.
right. There's a genuineness to it because I think in this day and age, especially, I think a lot of people are doing it for the accolades, the clout, that type of stuff, instead of having like an actual dedication to the craft, which case in point, we're seeing with their music because not only are you rapping on your own tracks, but you're producing your own tracks as well, right?
Yeah, I produce and I also engineer everything too. So I do that too because it's like when you listen to my music, you know that there's nothing came in the way between me and you. Like everything that you hear, like is strictly me, like directly to my product, to the consumer. I do it kind of like that, so when people hear my shit, they know it's 100% just me. And I kind of like that. I don't know if it was always gonna be like that, but for right now, I think it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you basically take what you can get out of your reality and turn that into an artistic expression, whether it be, when you're in your highs or in your lows, and then kind of give it to the public in that way.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I just try to just be myself, you know? Yeah. And being myself is just doing everything. So, yeah.
So one of the obvious questions, you had a direct connection to AG Club, and basically when they were coming up the formation, standing as a core member, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did that basically start? Because I know y'all were popping off in around like 2019, around there. Did it form before then, or was it basically during that point when y'all had came together and then everything, you know, like started to roll?
How it started was, like I told you, I was making beats on my phone and stuff. And
Right.
while I was doing that, I met one of my friends in high school. Like I was like a sophomore. His name was Jabbar, and I would go to his house a lot, right? And I would always tell Jabbar, because I would always, at the time, like Jody was rapping, but Jody was rapping with a whole different group. Like he was in a whole different group. Yeah, he was in like a whole other group, and he was rapping, and I thought it was cool, you know. But I was like, bro, like some of the beats that he was rapping on, I was like, oh, like I feel like if I just get him on this kind of like beat, I feel like it'd be crazy. Because I was just hearing it. And then the same thing for Baby Boy, like Jody would post these freestyles online, like him just like freestyling, and that's kind of how I figured out who he was. And then we kind of got connected too, like because in that old group that he had, I kind of would like work with him too a little bit. So I worked with him once before, like we like made a AG session. And the same thing with Baby Boy. Like Baby Boy was like a big into videography. So even before we started everything, like he would do a lot of videos and they would pop off on the internet, like just in our city, you know, just in our little town. And I would just like always just picture them. I would always tell my friend Jabbar, I was like, bro, like for a year, like I would tell him, like, if I get these two guys on one of my beats, like if I get these two guys like on one of them, like it's gonna be over. Like, and for like a year, like I tried just getting in a session with them for a whole year, and it just didn't work out, you know. And Jody ended up going to college. Like he wasn't even in the city anymore. But luckily, like something happened where he came back and we were able to like get a session finally. And I have been working on this song for like 6 months. Like I was working on a beat for like 6 months, and like we recorded to it. And then I made another beat like the day before, and then we recorded to it. And then, yeah, that session is kind of like basically like the first session ever. And in that session, we like, it just felt right, you know? And then like over time, we were like, we kind of have something here. And then AG Club, the name AG started off too because we had like a whole bunch of names before, but I really wanted it to be called Club because I'm a big like soccer fan, like a huge soccer fan. So I always wanted it something to be Club because like, you know, like Barcelona Club, like all the famous football clubs.
Right.
So so like the soccer, that's where the club comes from. And then Jody came up with the AG, with the avant-garde. And then we just shortened it to the AG Club. So yeah, like it was like people just from my city that I just knew, like you could just tell. Sometimes you could just tell like when people have star power, you know? And I just knew it. And then we just kept working and we made it out, you know? Yeah.
And that's interesting that you say that, you know, because I think, well, myself included, when I had first seen y'all popping out, I was like, oh, this is probably homies that probably came up together. They probably like, you know, known each other for a long time. And then you're talking about basically, you know, having a big part of not only like the name, you know, and all the other like counterparts, but just basically you acted as a mediator, bringing everybody together with seeing your vision of what it could be. And then obviously you had the right pick because all of y'all together, y'all just go crazy every single time. And like it's always keeping everybody guessing. You never know what you're gonna get. And like I'm saying, there's also like a genuineness from everybody else too. And like even what you're saying about Jody, like you can just tell that he got something there. And then when you're mentioning Baby Boy with the visuals and everything, like that also goes case in point because y'all early videos like go crazy. Like the concept, there's a story to it. You know, there's breaks into it where we get different scenes and how that connects to making it more than just a song, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I definitely feel like Jody and Baby Boy, they knew of each other too. Like we all kind of knew of each other before we even came together, you know? So everybody kind of knew, but it wasn't until like I set that session up until we were like, okay, like we could do this, you know. And I mean, I knew we were gonna like go crazy just because of the visuals too, because it's like nowadays, like in this generation, you need like a cool video, you know. And Baby Boy had that on lock, so yeah, it was. And he's a great singer too, great singer,
Right.
great poet.
Always with the
Yeah, yeah.
vocals, bro. Always.
Yeah,
Yup.
so yeah, so it was lit, you know. I was just trying to, literally, my vision since day one was just to like give them a platform. Like I never wanted to be like in the forefront. I never ever wanted to be like the main guy. Like I always just wanted to just be in the back and just produce and just make the music and like let them do their thing. Like, you know. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy everything worked out the way it did, you know. Yeah, yeah.
Because within basically that 2019 through 2020 run that you had with AG, we were seeing a lot of good content as well as like project singles and stuff like that. So even standout tracks where you have verses on them yourself, like let's say Match 5, Summer's Over, AG, Brass, and then your most popular song Memphis.
Mhm.
What was the process in the studio when y'all were recording that, or just in general during that time when y'all were coming together? What was the studio sessions looking like at that time?
So the studio sessions were at that time, it would just be like we would just get together and I would just like all those beats, all those songs you just mentioned, like I would just show them. I had the beat already, and so I just came to the studio and I just showed them the beat, and then they just hopped on it, and it was that simple. Like every time I knew we were gonna have a session, I would just cook up. Like the day before, I would just cook up, and so when the day would come, we would come together. I would just play them a whole bunch of songs, and those would be the ones that they picked. So yeah, like it would just literally be like I'll just play them beats and they would just hop on them. Yeah, it was that simple. Like really, as crazy as it sounds, it really was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when you were making the beats, did you kind of have it in mind of like, I might want to have Jody and Baby Boy on this one, and then I might want to have this and this on this track? Or was it kind of like how you're saying, like, I'm gonna construct it, I'm gonna play it for them, see what they're feeling it, and then see how we can go from there?
There was some where I was like, okay, like this is like this one's special. Like they could for surely use it. But other ones, like for example, like Brass, I had that beat for like before they even used it. I had that beat for months. Like I
Okay.
had that beat for like 5 months before they even used it. But then we had a session where we were like, we need some like turn shit, we need some like hype shit. And so I was like, what hype beats did I have? And I remember this one beat that I made like 5 months ago, and I pulled it up, and then we just made the song, you know. So sometimes it just like I just make shit, and sometimes I just play it, and if it's the energy that we're looking for, then we use it, you know. But yeah, like it's not really like super thought out or super planned, just kind of like an energy.
Right. Does it kind of go hand in hand when y'all were doing your visuals and like the videos as well, or was it kind of, did it make it easier once you already had the song recorded to base the concept of? Because just the concept for Brass in itself, how y'all open up kind of with the whole talk show thing, and then we're getting different transitions and different characters within each of y'all. What was that basically like when y'all were kind of, getting into making more of the visuals?
I mean, all that came after the song. We had made the song first, and then did the visuals after. But that's all Baby Boy and Manny. You know, they they snapped. You know, we all kind of like we pitch in some ideas, but for the most part, like it's really just them. Like it's just Baby Boy and Manny. You know, they just go crazy. Yeah, and that's like with all the videos too. Like we kind of like if we have something to say, like that we'll say it. But for the most part, they just do their thing. You know. Yeah.
Did y'all have a goal at that time, or kind of like a point that you wanted to reach when you kind of seen that everything was working together and what y'all could do? Or was it kind of just like, we're on the come up right now, we want to make our music for our constituents out there who are going to know what we're talking about and be able to express it? Or were you kind of like, we really got something right here, we have that group mentality that we haven't seen in a long time, let me say, compared to AG's cohesiveness and other groups that have either tried to come up or have been coming up? I think in terms of that, like y'all really just clicked together and no one's really doing what AG was doing at that point. But was there like an ultimate goal when it kind of like started getting going?
I mean, we come from the Bay, and in the Bay, it's like it's a lot of hyphy music, and which I love, you know. and it's a lot of it's a lot of turn shit like that. And we just wanted to bring something new to the table. That's it, you know, because a lot of people, like especially from our city, you know, from Antioch, from all over East Bay, you know, they were just like, the sound is great, you know, but we just felt like we wanted to bring something new to the sound, and by doing that, we were just being ourselves, and people resonated with it. So we just got lucky too. But
Right, because
yeah,
y'all, I feel like y'all could have easily went in that lane of the Bay Area sound that we have right now, like the hype movement and everything. And
yeah.
even talking about being in the East Bay, I'm sure there's a lot of influences and other artists around the city that have a substantial amount of clout, or are making moves at that point. But just how you're saying, y'all were bringing something different to the table. That was basically, the vibe that I was getting every single time that I was listening to y'all. I had a feeling that it was a Cali group when my boy first put me on. I had to do a little investigating and see what was good. But I'm like, they really got something here, and it seems like it's on the brink of just blowing up and just getting to a whole nother platform of, like, you know, something that nobody's gonna be expecting. And just anybody that I was seeing, I was trying to put them on like as quick as I could. Hey, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have that new AG, you gotta like listen to this track. This is what they're doing.
Mhm.
So at that point, it basically seemed like y'all had a really good stance in what you were trying to do. Were you getting a lot of love from, like, in your city and like in Cali and like respected areas and stuff like that? Or was it kind of more so just the come up?
Yeah, we were getting love, but we first started getting more love outside of our city first, and then once they started realizing that, okay, like people are actually fucking with it, like more people in our city started fucking with us more. But like I said, we never, and I still to this day, like I don't do it really for that. Like I don't do it. I just do it because like I'm trying to like make the best music I make, and if people choose to fuck with it, that's great, you know. But it was never for like to get hella recognition or to get hella famous or to like anything like that. You know, it was just we all just love music, and me too. Like I just love music. I love making music. I'm like family. Everybody makes music, so it's just in my blood, you know. It's really just in my blood, you know. So yeah,
And
yeah.
then during that time too, we were seeing a substantial amount of AG success. We were seeing your numbers going up. Memphis was blowing up. It was basically getting to the point where it's over 1 million views when you had dropped the video in February of 2020. You were getting co-signs from other artists. And then that would eventually lead to the remix with NLE and ASAP Ferg, as well as, many other things that were coming to AG that I thought, they deserved it, and this is going how it's supposed to go. How did you feel about both getting the recognition from either people that were co-signing you, or seeing the fan base start to grow in more, like bigger numbers and more view counts and stuff like that?
It made me feel like I was on the right track. Everyone was on the right track. It made me feel like everything was worth it, you know, because we are all suffered a lot. Like everybody suffers, you know, but we are all been through a lot before then, and so seeing it get received like that, even though like when we first made it, like it wasn't like that. Like no one really checked it out. It took months for it to kind of get there, but yeah, it just felt like this was meant to be, you know. Yeah, it felt like it was supposed to happen. So it felt good. Definitely felt good. Yeah.
Right. And transitioning to another question, just to basically break the ice and get the elephant out of the room. Are you still with AG Club?
Right now, not really, but we're cool. Like, yeah, we're cool. We had spoke, like a while ago, probably like around last year. We have got together and stuff. Everything's cool though, but I don't really work with them as much as I used to.
For sure,
Yeah.
is because I was gonna say, for Fuck Your Expectations Part 1 and 2, we didn't see any appearances as far as verses, but did you happen to produce anything on any of the
Yeah.
projects? Were you still working? Yeah. What tracks did you produce on either Part 1 or Part 2?
I produced like half of that whole album. Like
Okay.
I produced Columbia,
Huh?
the single. I produced NoHo. I produced
Okay.
a lot of those, a lot of the, like half of, I want to say like half of that whole album. Like I pretty much produced, probably a little more, probably a little less, around there. Yeah, yeah.
All right, that makes sense because I could see that now, like basically with the beat selection and everything that we had on there. And now that you say no, that basically clicks everything in perspective. How
Yeah.
did you like basically during that time when you weren't as active, how you were saying, how did you feel about them basically getting newfound success from the release of these projects?
I thought it was amazing. I told you earlier, like getting out of high school, like I always envisioned them just being stars and me just being in the back, just making beats. Like I always just envisioned that. I never wanted to be like in the front or like anything like that. I just wanted to make good music. That's it. You know, I just wanted them to hop because I knew like the type of beats they were hopping on before, and I always knew like if they just hop on these kind of beats, like even Baby Boy was in a whole different group before we started, both of them were. So it's like I would hear it and I'm like, if I just get them on these kind of things, like it's over, you know? So that was always my vision. Like just get them, have them like forefront and I'm just on the beats, you know? So it just makes me super proud. Like they're doing it, you know, they're actually doing it. And I mean, I wish nothing but success for them until I die, you know? Those
Right.
yeah. So I'm very proud, and it makes me feel like if they could do it, anybody else could do it, you know? So it's pretty cool.
So basically, what happened between you and the group for you to be less involved, active, or, have less of a presence up in there? Was it kind of an agreement? Was it more so? I'm not going to say because I don't think y'all would beef like that. Y'all seem pretty tight and cool, and everybody seems like kickback. But
Uh-huh.
basically, what happened to get you in that position of being less present?
It was just like a lot of drama. It was just a lot of drama, and it was just like not a good environment at the time. And so I we just kind of equally just decided like, okay, we're gonna like separate. And it was like I said, it was no beef, but I like everything happens for a reason. And yeah, like I know that they're gonna keep on going bigger, but yeah, it was just better, it was just better. Hopefully one day we could uh reconcile and maybe do something in the future. But yeah, for right now, definitely like it is what it is, but it's definitely no beef, no nothing like that, it's all love. But yeah, it was just like a lot of drama going on, and it just like it wasn't good for anybody. So yeah, we kind of had to just like part ways, but it's all love, it's all
Yeah,
love
yeah.
always. Yeah, yeah.
At what point kind of did you guys come to that decision? Was that after Memphis and everything was blowing up? Was it after 2020 going into 2021? Because we were seeing Fuck Expectations drop in February of 2020, basically a year after the release of Memphis.
I think that was like right before the remix, like right
Mhm.
before the remix. Yeah, like around there. Yeah, I
That's what
don't
I
know
was
the.
wondering too.
Yeah.
I was seeing NLE and ASAP Ferg, and I was like, yo, I didn't know if they come up with Louis verse or anything up on there, if that's just remix purposes or what's going on. But that kind of gave me like the first initial, you
hmm
know, hint of like, something ain't right, like something feels different. But how you're
Yeah,
saying you're
yeah.
still in contact, it's still on good terms. Y'all talked it out. It wasn't really nothing like abrupt like that. And hopefully, like you're saying, there's still be another chance for collaborations. And are you still producing for AG Club?
Right now, nah, not really. But I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe in like 10 years, who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
it may not even happen. So I mean, you kind of never know,
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah. But I mean, like I said, it's all love. There's no hate, no beef, no nothing like that. We left. Yeah, it's all good between everybody. Like I told you, I had linked up with them even after everything. And yeah, we've talked about everything. It's all love between them, So yeah.
And then after that point, basically that towards the end of 2020 and then entering 21, that's when we're seeing you more branching out and beginning your solo act as, in that term. So you had your first kind of more intimate interview November 2020 with Andy Folio, where you kind of let people know who you are. I think he asked you about your philosophy on like first instincts, right? You were talking about you're real big about like trusting your gut and the first instinct. That's usually the right thing that you should go with and no amount to what you want it to go in.
Uh-huh.
Then also within that, you were saying you'd like to change music and be the change in music. So when you said that, what do you have in your mindset to be the change in music?
I mean, that was even the mindset even when back then too, like back when I was like just starting, like I told you, like everybody in my city kind of wanted to like sound a certain type of way, which is cool, you know, no diss to that. But I feel like I just wanted to bring something new, bring something fresh. And that's kind of always been my MO, you know, and still to this day, like that's why I always say I want to change music. I want to bring something new to the table, you know, not necessarily like forcing it, but just by being myself, you know. So that's always kind of been my goal, just trying to change shit and just trying to bring something new, just being myself, being fresh, you know. Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, you know, we were seeing kind of like not a hiatus, but a little bit of chill time from there from the interview. And, you know,
Yeah,
how are
yeah.
you feeling at that point when you kind of made the announcement and then you previewed Nobody and then you also gave us a title as well? How are you feeling
I,
at that time?
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it's like I want to consider it more. Yeah, it's just like a project. It's called I named it Tlaquepaque because that's the city I was born in.
Mhm.
I was born in Mexico, so that's the city I was born in. So I felt like I was just like it was like a ode to like my whole life up to that point. So and it felt great, you know, it felt great. And at the time I was working with Andy a lot. It definitely was like a learning thing because I did, like I said, I made all the beats. That was the first time like I did anything like just completely just by myself. So it was like a learning experience, definitely. But it also made me a lot better. And I'm very happy. Like every time I go back and I listen to like Nobody or any of my favorite tracks on there, like it just brings me back to that time, you know. So definitely a good time in my life. And yeah, yeah, I probably won't ever forget it, you know. Definitely. Yeah.
Are you seeing yourself taking more influence from that side of your life in upcoming projects, or like, you know, like say for example, if we get more kind of like bilingual type rap or, you know, samples, stuff like that, do you see yourself including that more as you continue to branch out?
Oh, definitely. Like I feel like putting Mexico like on the map. I've always tried to do that. Even on my verse on Memphis, like I'm from
Right.
Mexico, you know, like I'm big. I rep my country like no one else. I try to, you know, I do it. I try to, cause I never growing up. I never really like saw like a lot of like famous, like not famous, but like rappers, like Mexican rappers, like in the
Yeah.
community, like the ones that like I really could resonate with. You know, obviously there's a lot of big ones, but like growing up, like I always wanted to see like a Mexican rapper like doing a sound that I really could like, okay, I could dive into this, you know? And so I never had that really growing up. And so I always want to like just put Mexico on like anything, you know. That's why I even named my project that, because I'm trying to like just show people like you could be Mexican and you could rap and you could sound different. You could do whatever you want, you know. So yeah, definitely like being Mexican, being bilingual. I've rapped in Spanish before, you know. I feel like that's amazing when people could do that. I think
Right.
it's cool. Yeah, definitely in the future. I mean, I've done it before. I probably in the future I'll do it more, but yeah, very proud, you know, super proud of being Mexican. Always will be, you know, always.
So you're basically taking the shoes of what you wanted to see when you were little, and then now you kind of want to serve as to that for maybe like another Mexican little boy or anybody else out there to, you know, look up to you and be like, you know, that's representation. We can do this, and how you're saying you can do it and be different and still make it your own style.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, that's I heard Virgil say some. He was like, I always do something for my 17-year-old self, and that's kind of like what I do too. Like, I try to make music for that kid when he first started making music, and I try to just do things for him because I know he'd be really proud of everything that I'm doing now. So I just try to keep doing shit like that, you know? Yeah, yeah.
Like I would say that you mounted to your goals and what you wanted to see from your
Thank
17-year-old
you.
self, your younger self, just anything, bro. Because what you do is just phenomenal. Like you really just do it all. How you're saying engineering, producing, rapping. Like we're seeing basically like a Tyler the Creator like trifecta, you know. So like I'm
Thank you,
saying,
bro.
keep it up. Definitely on the radar for new releases, and possibly a new album. So I'll be on the lookout for that bilingual and everything as well.
Yeah, that'd be lit. That'd be lit.
After that, from the initial post of the title of the album and the announcement of it March 17th, you would be in the Don't Judge video April 9th, 2021 with, is it Daniel?
Oh yeah, Danielle, yeah. Yeah.
What was that like? Was he the one that reached out to you? Did you reach out to him? And then we also did get to see a little bit of acting in that video as well. Another, kind of break to a scene to build to the theme of the song. So that was very much appreciated. But how did that kind of come together of you collaborating with him?
So me and Danielle met because at the time we had the same manager. And so our managers kind of got us together. And then when we got in the same session, we just like completely just clicked. Like we like the same music. We both kind of have a good the same perspective on what we're trying to do. It just mixed perfectly. And we started working. And then once we kept working, we were like, damn, we got some here. They had invited some videographers to come and to like be part of the team. And then that's kind of what started happening. And then, that's how we got Don't Judge. And that's how we got all of like the 82 project. Most of that stuff is like us just coming together and us just like collaborating, because he's such a great artist. Like he's such a great artist. He has like, most of the time too, I try to just get out of the way and just let his greatness show, because that guy, he inspires me a lot, so he's great. I mean, shooting the video with him is super fun. Plus he's from Portland too. So It's like cool. Yeah, it's cool, like, because he invites me to Portland and then I get to see the whole Portland scene. And it's just insane because he's so in tune with the city. So yeah, definitely. And we still got a lot of things. Like we got things in the works right now for his new project. I'm literally working on it. I was working on it before you called me. So yeah.
For sure.
So I mean, we got a lot of things coming up. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, super cool.
And then speaking of the 82 project, you were a feature artist on there and you produced 6 out of the 10 tracks on there, right?
Yeah, I think so. I produced a little bit of, I forgot the number, but I definitely, something like that.
Which tracks did you produce? And then how long did it take in total to produce the entirety of those tracks?
I don't know the exact, I would have to pull it up and like tell you. But a lot of the tracks that I produced on there's a song on there called 82, and that one I fully produced, like 100%. And then the other ones that I produced, he already had like the songs already. Like he had the melodies and stuff, but he just asked me to like put some drums on it. So, okay. He had the whole song already and he just gives it to me and I'll put my own drums on it. And like, he'll like tell me, take this out, add this. And then, we kind of got what we got, and that's kind of still our creative process to this day. Like, he's such a great artist. Like I said, he already has everything. And I just try to get in there and just try to like kind of get him to his vision, and just get the feeling right. Yeah, super easy to work with. Like he's one of my favorite artists to work with. So, yeah.
So when you're doing the creation process with that, is it basically how it would be, kind of with how the past AG sessions were going, where you might have a beat already in the mix, and then you kind of like show it to someone and be like, this might be good, or how you were saying he might already have something a little set up and then you put the drums on there? Was it kind of like a different experience working with him as an artist and how it was in the past from other artists that you work with?
Oh, completely different. Before I was just working with it was a group, so it's completely different working with a group than just a single artist. And I try my best to like, when I'm working with him, I throw everything out the window, It's just like, it's like we're creating a whole new sound. And sometimes I'll come up and I'll just show him a beat. Sometimes I'll still do that and he'll rap on it. But yeah, it's completely different, It's completely different, but I definitely enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it a lot, So
then branching into 2021, October 11th, that's when we basically got the track list and the release date for your album, which you would say would follow up in about 2 days, so the 13th of October. I know you were talking about you're basically taking influences from not only your adolescence and everything like that, But what's the overall theme, if you could say, for that album?
Being Mexican, being Mexican and being Mexican and being in hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
Mexico and hip hop. That's literally what I try going for, like just being Mexican and what it means, like being Mexican, like growing up the way I did and stuff like that. Cause, yeah, like I told you, I was born over there, and I came over here, and so that. So I didn't know, like I was undocumented until like I didn't even know what any of that means until I was like 17. Like my mom told me, hey, by the way, you're this. And I'm like, what? And then yeah, it was like crazy. And then she had told me like, okay, I'm gonna get you this paperwork. And so right now I'm a dreamer. And so it's like me trying to like tell people like, or like show people like you could be a dreamer, you could be Mexican, whatever you want to be, and still do what you want to do. You know, don't let anybody stop you from doing anything. You know, it was basically kind of that. That's what I was kind of trying to go for. You know, just telling people my story, definitely through my music.
For sure. How do you feel about, other Mexican artists who kind of have the same message for their fan? Like we're seeing Cuco, we see Quest, all those type of guys. How do you feel about artists like that who are putting on a similar message?
I think it's amazing. I think the more the merrier, you know, the more the better, you know. I think it's yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's amazing. I love putting on for the Mexican people. Like it's my people, you know. Yeah, I love it.
Would you say that's kind of your main demographic in terms of the target audience, or how you're saying like, if you fuck with my music, you fuck with it, that's cool?
Yeah, it's exactly like, it's not just Mexican people. Like I try to write it to where like I'm just talking about my problems or what I go through in hopes of somebody can relate to it, you know? So yeah, I mean, I think I try not to make it to where it's like, if you're only this, you can listen to this. And I don't think music is like that, you know?
Right.
I feel like anybody can enjoy it, you know? Anybody can enjoy anything. Like you can listen to whatever music you like, and it's right, you know? There's no wrong way of listening to music, you know? Yeah.
Right, adding that degree of basically inclusivity to, make it applicable to everybody in at least one type of way through what you're saying. When you were making it, what was the process of it? Did you already have beats in mind of what you wanted to rap over, or was it kind of like, I'm gonna make this track and then I'm gonna rap over it and then keep producing it from there?
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Like I would just wake up, and just cook up, you know, and I just make beats and yeah, and just rap over them. Like nobody specifically. And there was another song too that Nobody, and there's a song on there called Brentwood. Those two songs I actually made in my friend Andy's. I was in Portland, and I was staying at his crib, and he was telling me, like, he was helping me, like, trying to get my project together, you know. And I would just wake up, and I just would make a beat, and I would just rap over it, and I would show him, and he'll be like, okay, this is cool, and then he would like kind of help me out through that process. But yeah, it's just like waking up and just like trying to just work, you know, and just work and just kind of just seeing what happens. It's like Rick Rubin has a good saying. He's like, it's like kind of like fishing, you know. You just gotta fish every day. You don't know if you're gonna catch a lot of fish, but you just gotta make sure you at least try to fish. You know, some days you catch small ones, some day you catch a really big one, you know. But as long as you're trying, you know, as long as you're trying.
So you were in album mode at that point then, right? You were kind of thinking like, I need to get this in. I'm on my grind. I'm gonna, get these tracks in. Did you have like a set idea of how many tracks you wanted to include in there? Or were you kind of just seeing, like what you could salvage from it?
No, there was definitely a lot of songs. I made a lot of songs, but I didn't want it to be like a full out album. Like I wanted to feel like more just like a project, like almost like a mixtape almost, but right. Like a little bit more like, but everything I do, I treat it like an album. So it just comes out that way, you know, but I didn't treat it like, I was just making songs, you know, but there was definitely a lot of songs that didn't make it, you know, but I definitely wanted to keep it short. Definitely. I wanted to keep it short, not too long. Yeah.
Is there a
The next
possibility
one.
that we're gonna see some of these, songs or throwaways that haven't made the album on future singles or a future, project? Or are you keeping those in the
Uh,
vault for yourself?
yeah, I might just keep, because it's just so I try not to go back, you know. I try not to go back. I try to just live in the moment right now, you know. So I mean, who knows though? Who knows? I got a lot of things in the vault, but the ones that I really wanted to like people to hear are they're out already. So
Okay.
yeah.
And within releasing that album, who do you hope it will like inspire or, give some type of like uplifting kind of feeling to?
Yeah, anybody that can relate to it, I appreciate anybody that listens to it and gets anything out of it. You know, if it inspires you, I mean, that's a job done for me. You know, even if one person listens to it, like I told you, I don't really do it for like accolades or anything. You know, I just try to tell my story and try to in the hope that like anybody who listens to it can resonate with it. You know, yeah, like any people who going through the struggle, people who feel like the world's against them, like stuff like that. You know, if you can resonate with it a little bit, I feel like I did my job. You know,
because basically in this album, from what we're seeing, you kind of standing like this beacon of like hope and positivity of how you're saying, even if you're going through a struggle or not everything is going in the way that you want to, there's always, light at the end of the tunnel, and you can always, keep working towards what you want to get to.
Exactly. You got to stay hopeful, you know, you got to stay, everything happens for a reason, you know? Yeah.
So talking about the album itself, I want to talk about a few standout tracks that myself, I enjoyed, and then kind of give what I, got from it, or a takeaway, or, what it might be about. And then from there, kind of ask you a question based off of the track's takeaways. The first track that I have is Redo, right? Very good track. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And from there, what I'm basically getting is that, you're talking about wanting more self-fulfillment, but within that as well, hoping towards the future and denying any type of judgment that people might give you. And we also did get the video release for that in November of 2021, roughly a month or so after the official album release. So my question is, what makes you inspired?
I get it a lot. Most of my inspiration just comes from life. Like, you got to live a little bit to create, you know? Most like life experiences and stuff like that. Like that song Redo specifically, I had just been like in a little rut, and I woke up that day and I made the beat the night before, and I tried writing to it, but I couldn't really write to it. And so I went to sleep, and I woke up, and as soon as I woke up, I did it, you know, I just recorded it. And I know like right now what we're doing is like, we're trying to like dive deep into like what I was thinking when I was making it, like on everything. But in all honesty, like when I'm making things, I don't think of it like too deep. I try to just chase the feeling, you know. I'm not like thinking like, oh, I want to like speak to this. Sometimes it is like that, but for the most part, it's just me chasing a feeling. Like I'm just like, I need to get this out, and I try not to overthink it too much, especially in the creative process, because that could fuck it up. Or I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, when I'm like doing it, I try not to overthink it too much. I just try to let it flow out of me, you know? Yeah.
The next track I want to talk about, which we've referenced a lot already, and I think it might be my favorite song on the album, if not the other one that we have coming up. But Nobody, what space were you when you were creating it? And how did you feel towards the end when it was basically finished and you had like this really solid track talking about not having a dependency per se on anybody, and trusting the process, the skill, and yourself at the end of the day to get in the place that you want to go to?
I made it at my friend Andy's house. I made it in this room, like literally with just my mic. Like it wasn't in no studio or anything. And I had just made it. And like the song really, I just tried showing people like you could do it. You don't need anybody, you know? That was kind of like the whole purpose of the whole song. It came out pretty quick too. Like it was like a quick song. Like if you listen to it too, it's not too many instruments or anything like that. Like it's super simple. So Yeah, I was just super like honored, that people actually fucked with it. And yeah, like I shot the video too all myself. And yeah, it was super cool, seeing the reaction to everybody, because I have a lot of friends too that tell me that like they really resonated with that one. So it just means a lot, that people even tuned into it.
What would you say to people who are either trying to come up in the rap game or who are trying to come up as a producer?
Really, the whole key of this shit is just be consistent and just be yourself. Like literally, as much as you could be yourself, it's like that's really the key, and just consistency. That's really it. Consistency and be yourself is pretty much it. Yeah.
Basically, the final track I want to talk about, it's in tie for nobody, probably with me, for my favorite, but I think it's probably the hardest track on the album, When You Made Like This, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
then in that you talk about not only growing up at home and your journey and your environment without total parental guidance and everything like that, but also within the hook we're seeing like people questioning either like the way you are, like the way that you act, this and that. And then also we do get, some little references to pulling some females. So how was it growing up in your hometown, and how much of it did like kind of that go into the track of Like This?
I mean, that song is kind of like a big like I don't know, like it's crazy. I made that song like a year before the actual album dropped. Like I
I
had
remember
that
that. I
song.
remember seeing the preview and just hearing the beat in itself
Oh
and like the
yeah.
sirens in the back and everything, and I was like, this is gonna be that track that's gonna be like the hardest hitting one.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had that song for a long time, and it was just kind of me, uh just telling everybody, like all my haters, like like I don't really care, and it was a lot about growing up in my town, like growing up in my cuz and then the second verse too was like an actual experience that I had with like a girl, like, and it was just like me trying to get some shit off, trying to get some things off that I wanted to tell people, and just trying to like, in a way I was trying to like flex in a way,
Well,
even
the
on my producing.
interruption of the relations, that really happened then, right? Because you say,
Oh yeah,
mm,
yeah. The one thing you gotta know about me is if I'm gonna rap about it, it actually happened. I will never rap about like things that never happened about me. Like, as I never understood that, But yeah, everything that you ever will hear from me, if I rap it, I lived it, and that's kind of always been my motto. So yeah, no, that was a crazy time, and I had that like on my soul for a while, and I just thought it was like funny, and I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a verse about it. And so yeah, I thought it was really funny. But yeah, I made that song a while ago, and I never really made like a turn up song like that. So that was like my first really like my turn up song that I made for like just me. So
that's what
I
I was
had a
gonna
lot of
say.
fun making it. Yeah.
That's kind of when we're seeing like that first initial kind of dive into like more like aggressive type rapping and stuff like that. And I was like, the boy kind of snapped, like, he's talking his shit right now, like
Yeah.
respect.
Thank
And
you.
just
Thank you.
the vibe that the beat gives from it, like that's still something I'd be bumping in my car if I'm like she's like trying to whip it or something, or.
Thank you. Thank you, bro. That means a lot. That means a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it.
And then when we get towards the end of the album, you end it with the outro.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite songs out of the whole thing.
So
Yeah.
basically, for the people out there to get a little bit of context, what is the audio from the outro, and then what does it either mean or how does it connect to end the story of the album?
So the intro, it's the intro and the outro kind of connect a little bit. So it's like the intro is I took a live video of people crossing the border, and it was like a big war that had been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you listen to the intro, it's called La Pelea. I named it the fight because it's like kind of the fight that Mexicans have, or not even just Mexicans, just anybody, any immigrant that's coming in, and the fight they have to go through in order to like be in this country, just let alone actually staying in this country. And so the first track, La Pelea, is literally like an actual audio of like war that was going on in the border. People like people were like shooting immigrants that were coming in, and I just thought it was something that always happens, and I felt like I needed to put it in. So if you hear it, it's like and it's like a somebody's I put a kid praying over all of it.
Right,
So it's
right,
like
right.
God is with us through this fight. And at the end of it, it's I ended with a prayer too. And that prayer is actually when my great grandma had passed away, we were having like a rosemary or like a celebration for her. And what they do is everybody gets together and they pray for her. And so I ended up just recording a bit of it. And that's why I called it Tata, because that was her name, Tata. So it was just like an ode kind of to her, because I mean, without her I wouldn't even be here. So yeah, so every time I play that song, it's like I get like a little emotional, because it's like it just brings me back to like my grandma. And it's like it's a big ode to her. Like it's just people praying for her, you know. So yeah, like praying God is like a big theme of it too. Like God, definitely, yeah. That's one of my favorite songs. Like every time I hear it, I just get like super like I feel it in my heart, you know, because it's like my grandma. So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So just the fact that you're adding kind of these things in there that might go over some people's heads, but for the people that are kind of like in tune with it, it just ties everything together and really just makes it seem like more
Hmm.
so a story than just like music that you're trying to push out here. So
Exactly. And I try to make it as personal as I can, you know. And some people, like you said, some people don't catch it, and that's okay, you know. I don't do it for them. I try to just make music that I really like. It means something to me, you know. It's like, and that's why I did it, because like shit means something to me. Like putting my grandma on like my grandma's prayer on a song, like that means something to me. That like 20 years from now, I can listen to that song and I'll be able to remember my grandma. And now my grandma's name will live on forever as long as that song lives, you know. So things like that are important to me, you know, making things that are timeless, you know, that could still be played like 20 years from now, you know. So
so you're in
yeah.
it for basically the longevity of it. Do you see yourself being like a long-standing contender in this game?
I mean, if God allows me to live 20 years, then so be it. But um yeah, I mean, I definitely make music trying to be timeless. Like I don't want to make just music that's just popping right now because that's what everybody's doing, you know. Like I feel like it's my job as a producer, as someone who's in the game, you know, to like push it forward, you know, and just push like and just try to bring something new, like I've always tried to. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if God allows me to live 20 more years, and I'll be making music. But yeah, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to see. Yeah, yeah.
So after the release of the album, you had a quick follow up with, you know, these batches of singles that we were getting equally as hard
Uh
hitting
huh.
and cohesive and everything like that. So the first kind of release of like this single run is you released an old song onto streaming services on October 27th of 2021. So basically about a week or so after the album was released, and then that was She Made Me. What was the thought
Uh huh.
process releasing the older song back onto streaming services?
Everybody really loved that song, and I personally, I like seeing, I'm on Apple Music. So when I listen to music, most of the time it's on Apple Music, and I really like that song, and I just wanted to put it out everywhere, you know. So and a lot of people really liked it before too. So I was like, why not? You know, why not put it everywhere? So yeah.
And then following that up, we're seeing more of the storytelling when on Christmas Eve you drop Favorite Story. And
Oh yeah.
I remember the day that it dropped because I was working at the movie theater. I think I was like mopping something up or sweeping it. And I was like, new Louis just dropped. All right, bet. You know, like let me peep into it. Bro, I
Uh,
must have played that song at least 3 or 4 times just on an endless loop as I was cleaning, just trying to
wow.
like get out of work and everything like that, just because of like
Wow.
how much like the story was painted in my mind and just the way that you went about it with your delivery, you know what I'm saying? So we're
Yeah.
seeing again a common theme of uh, your interactions with the ladies, with the females, and what you get out of
Yeah.
it. Was this about any girl in particular, or is this based off of multiple experiences?
No, this was about a girl that I had literally like this was about one girl specifically. And it was it's like I always kind of just made music for women. Like even back in high school, like it was like a form of like me, like I didn't really know how to like get at girls. So I would just make songs for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like back in high school, like, you know, the first songs I ever really actually released were all about girls, you know. So it's like I always kind of like I get so much inspiration from women, like so much, like they motivate me, they inspire me still to this day, you know. So yeah, it's just I had a scenario where I had gone through all that with a girl, and she just inspired me so much. I was like, I need to write a song about you. And I kind of always just been doing that. Always, like, oh, even like I said in high school too, like if I had a crush on you, like I would just like make a song about you and people would hear it and they'll be like, oh, is he talking about you? Is he talking about
Yeah.
you? And she'd be like, oh my gosh. And then it would kind of like spiral into this thing. And yeah, that's just kind of how I always did it. So, I mean, I still do it to this day, you know? So yeah, it's just like in my blood, really. Like I can't help it.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's a step up from what most dudes are doing out here. I mean, you know, at the most, they might send you a playlist or something like that of, you know, these are tracks that, you know,
Yeah,
I should put you on, this is that. But you over here making a whole ass tracks for the ladies. So with women
yeah.
and experiences being a common theme in your music, does that come from your reality and your like day to day? Or do you kind of just like save more of the special moments for these tracks like Favorite Story?
I mean, I grew up around a lot of women. Like I grew up a lot. So my mom always like taught me a lot about women, you know. And I just watching my mom, just all the struggles she's been through, like even that gives me like I get a lot of inspiration from that too. But yeah, just women are so inspiring, so motivating, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to get inspired from that, you know, from just seeing how much work everybody puts in, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you make it an art compared to like a lot of other artists who might talk about the similar topic but make it in like derogatory memes or, you know, stuff like that. But you're kind of like making it see the beauty of women and what they can offer to not only men but just, you know, the world in general.
Exactly. No, exactly. Because I mean, without women, you know, and none of us will be here, you know.
Right.
So you got to give it up to him, you know. You got to give it up to him. I mean, always. And yeah, like it'll probably always be a theme in my music, you know, probably because it's just like I kind of can't get away with it. Even in my last project, Tlaquepaque, I had a whole song, like Corvo was a whole other song too about another situation too. So it's like I get a lot of inspiration from women. I always will be, you know, because how can't you, you know?
Right. So, we're getting like a lot of like introspection from it because in Corvo, you're basically saying like, you know, are you really down for forever? And then we get Favorite Story and it's like a juxtaposition of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of been a theme, but I mean, I can't help it, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I try not to think about it too much, you know, when I make music. I kind of, like I said, I just let it like flow. Like I try to just make a whole bunch of stuff and the things that I like, I'll release them, you know? Yeah.
So then following that up, April 13th, your first release of 2022, that's when we got Chomper, right?
Oh, yep.
How did you produce that track? Because I'm getting like this, like, you know, type of vibes in terms of how hard it's hitting, the 808s, all that.
That song I have for a minute too. And yeah, it was just like I just wanted another hard record. Like I wanted, like when you play it live, like when I perform it, like I wanted it to be like up tempo and just like hard hitting and stuff like that. So I was just trying to come with energy, and that song was really just like a big fuck you to like everybody that hates on you, everybody that like tries to like put you down, everybody that says you can't be this and that tries to like belittle you. Like that song was just to all those people. And yeah, I just try to channel that energy and just tell everybody like, nah, like fuck you, like suck my dick, you can't do anything, you know what I'm saying?
Because we even got a little bit of context on IG the day that you posted, you know, saying like basically this is who it goes out to, and this is, if you're bumping this, then it can be in this situation. During that time, were you getting a lot of hate, or was it kind of just like a feeling of like everyday type of feeling that everybody goes through?
No, I wasn't necessarily getting hate. It was just like a lot of it. I mean, everybody gets hate, but I was just so tired of just seeing it. And I was just like, I just felt like I just needed to make this. And I just kind of channeled a lot of like negative energy. And I just tried to change it into a positive, you know, like, yeah. But it wasn't nothing specific, you know, it wasn't nothing specific. I just felt like I just wanted to tell everybody, you know what, you can't stop me, you know? And so that's kind of what it is, and trying to empower people too. I was really what it was too, like try to tell people like if you're hearing this, like you could, you know, like no one could stop you. That's kind of what the whole message behind that whole song was, you know? So yeah, like I'm just happy that people hopefully people could get that, you know. If they don't, that's okay, you know, but that was definitely the goal, you know.
See, and that's what I was trying to explain. I was bumping in the car, I think about last week or maybe like a couple weeks ago with my girl. And then she was kind of she kind of looked at me and I was like, oh, you don't fuck with the boy Louis or what? And she's like, nah, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's real, like going off like that. And I was like, I mean, if people are coming at you like that, that's how you're saying, that's an empowering basically anthem of like, you can't fuck with me. I'm on my shit and we're gonna, you know, still continue to push through and do what we got to do. So
exactly.
I was talking about that yesterday with her, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna have to tell the boy Louis that you wasn't feeling his song like that, you know. But after getting a little context, hopefully she'll change your mind a little bit.
It's okay, you know. It's okay. I mean, at least you got it. You know, you got the point, so that's okay. You know, yeah.
Do you think that there's people out there who doubt your craft or what you can do?
Yeah, there's always gonna be people who doubt you. Always. Like if you don't have doubters, you're not doing anything right, you know? It's like you're supposed to have doubters. You're supposed to have people that doubt you. That's normal, you know? So I mean, you can't let them, you can't take it personal, because when people are doubting you and putting negative things on you, it's just a projection of how they feel, you know, how they feel inside. So I don't let it get to me. I know it's not personal, it's just how they feel, you know, and I don't let them project any of that onto me, you know. I just try to keep it pushing, and I know my agenda, and I just try to keep it running, you know. So,
and I'm saying, I bet how you were talking about this kind of being like a real performance or like live thing, I know that it's probably about to go off. When you probably, have you performed this live yet, or are you still waiting for that chance to like open it up and have people go crazy?
I haven't performed it live, but soon. It's gonna come soon, actually. I got like I got one opportunity, I think, soon, but I don't want to speak on it too soon because it hasn't settled in yet.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Definitely coming up. Definitely, I got a lot of shows I want to get in the works this year. This year, I'm just gonna keep releasing songs. Like lately, I've just been releasing songs like every 2 weeks, and I'm just gonna keep doing that. You know, just the whole year, the rest of the year, just keep dropping, and like get a couple shows in too. And then like I said, I got a whole bunch of stuff coming out with Daniel, and just keep working with artists. So yeah, definitely but I feel like that's definitely like a live song. Like you play that live, like so I can't wait. I literally can't wait. So
well, that basically, I think you kind of answered my next questions that I had about what we can expect next, you know, coming up for Louis. How you were talking about you want to release more singles, and then can we expect a follow-up album to your first one?
Yeah, I feel like I said, the first project wasn't really like an album. It was more just like I want to call it a tape, but it was a little bit more than a tape. Like it was just a project. Like it was just a project, you know. Definitely, I want to do like a real cohesive, like a 12 song, like really thoughtful, like really deep, you know, project. But for right now, I just want to keep releasing music, you know. I just want to stay consistent. So yeah, like every 2 weeks, just keep releasing stuff. And right now, I'm in the point where I want to just work with and help build a lot of artists, you know. So yeah, me working with Daniel or me working with like up and coming artists. I got this other group too called Illusion Hills, that I just made a song for too, and I got a lot of things in the vault with them. So yeah, so it's just like working with bigger artists, and then sending music to like bigger artists, and then also working with smaller artists, and on top of that, working on things for myself. So all 2022, you know, that's kind of, I'm just all gas, no break, you know. Yeah.
Hey, I dig that mentality. Do you have a lot of people kind of seeking you out for your beats or your production?
Yes. I mean, when people want to come to me, they'll fuck with me because they know what I'm capable of, you know. So yeah, I try to just put my best foot forward always, you know. I try to stay ready so I don't have to get ready. So every day I cook up, you know. Every day as a producer, you gotta remain consistent with your beats always, you know. So Yeah, definitely. And people, if people come and reach out for me, most of the time most of the time I see it. I mean, a lot of people reach out, so it's hard to see everybody, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, transitioning from that, do you wish that you would have stayed with AG now that we're seeing them having their MTV appearance? They're on tour with Denzel Curry. They're hitting all the states. Or how
Uh,
do you feel about that kind of situation now that they're kind of, getting more of the media platform?
yeah, I think it's great. I think they're not even like, I feel like they're just getting started too.
Mm.
Like I feel like they're this the sky is literally the limit with them, you know. So it just makes me super proud, and it makes me super energized knowing that they're doing that, you know. Because that was, like I told you, that was the plan all along. Like I always envisioned them just like being up front and just doing their thing, and I'm just in the back, you know, just making music, you know. That was always the goal for me. So it just makes me super happy that they stuck with the vision, and they keep pushing. I don't necessarily regret not being with them. You know, things happen and it's okay, you know. But like I said, it's like all love. It's all love, you know. So yeah, I can't wait until to see how what they got next, you know, because they're always on the forefront of things. So yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
And then we did see that new, I see they posted a new video and single, I think today, right?
I'm not sure. I haven't really been in tune, but yeah, they might have. Yeah.
So I want to talk about right now your most recent release, Lonesome, which released May 4th of this month. We
Oh
kind of
yeah,
went from
yeah.
talking about in the project about, you and your girls, the high and the lows. So now with not only the title, but the content within the song, does that mean that you by yourself are like single and like on your own right now?
Yeah, it was just like that song actually came together because I was talking with this person, right? And I had made the beat, right? This person called me, and she literally just broke down, just like crying, and she was just like had a panic attack, and she was telling me how she's surrounded by so many people, um but she just feels so alone. And I thought it was such a crazy thing, and when I was writing that song, I just try to like embody that, you know, like just like show people that even though if you're alone, you'll be okay, you know. It's like it's to fight through it, you know. So that song kind of came together like after I got a call, and then she was like telling me all these things, and you know, I felt like she just moved me so much. I just like I had to put it in a song. So that's kind of how that song came about. Yeah. And that was one of the first songs I actually show you too. Like I got that song off of this record, that little sample.
Oh,
I
shit, okay.
Yeah, so I got it. It was like a 99-cent record. I put it in and I flipped it. Yeah. But yeah, the lyrics came about like that, just her telling me how she feels alone even though she's surrounded by so many people. And it was really just to like tell people too, like even though you're alone, like you're still here, you know, you got to keep pushing, like, and like you're not truly alone even though if you feel like you are, you know. So yeah, it was just a message to people to like tell people it's gonna be okay, you know, and try to uplift people again. Like I feel like that's really what I want to do, especially going forward. Like just empower people and show people that like things always work out and that everything will be okay, you know. That's kind of my message, you know. I want to just empower people and show people things happen, you know, and things happen the way that they're supposed to happen.
Now that we're seeing kind of like that uplifting message and inspirational type of vibes, could that be a possible theme to build off of for upcoming releases or your next project?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I'm in the zone right now where I just want to rap. Like
Uh-huh.
I just want to rap. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a singing mood, so you might get some of that too. But I feel like I wanna just tell people, and I wanna continue my story, you know. And more so, like I feel like with my last project, I was talking a lot about myself, and I feel like with these new projects, I'm trying to talk more about the people, you know, and bring people, you know, together, you know, as much as I can with my music, you know, and just yeah, just keep trying to make the best music that I can make, you know, always.
So just as a final round for like a, last minute questions before we kind of get to the point where we close out. Um, what would you say that people can take away from your music or just your style as a whole?
Uh, People could take whatever they want from it. You know, you could take whatever you want from my music. Uh, Me personally, I just try to tell people that, well, no matter where you come from, no matter what you look like, no matter what your background is, anything, like, it's possible. You could do anything that you put your mind to, and I just try to motivate people, and hopefully I can motivate people and inspire people. That's always just been my goal, since day one. And yeah, just if I could do this, trust me, anybody could do this. Trust me. So that's kind of been that's what I hope people could take away from it.
What's some of the top artists that you'd either want to collaborate with or produce for?
That are alive right now.
Alive or just of all time?
My that my I would always my dream collab would be this is jazz trumpet player named Miles Davis.
Mhm.
As a dream collab of mine. Um, so many artists. Miles Davis. I would love to have a song with I would have loved to have a song with Michael Jackson. That's
Mhm.
like dead, but
Yeah.
alive right now. I really like what Doja Cat's doing. I feel like
Okay.
having a song with Doja Cat would be fire.
Yeah, I feel like y'all could
Um,
probably do something hot, bro.
yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, I love Doja Cat. I also love I also love a lot of West Side Gun,
Okay.
like that like break beat hip hop shit. I
So
love
you're trying to get
Tyler.
what all the Griselda?
Yeah, like that'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Griselda. I love what they're doing. Kendrick, Drake, obviously, just people like that. Hopefully in the future, it's gonna come sooner. If I just keep working, anything's possible. Anything, anything. And like to the people that are watching too, or that are gonna be watching this, like anything is possible. Like I said before, like if I'm here and if I'm doing this shit, like if I'm in LA chasing my dreams and I come from the smallest city in Mexico, like a small city, like anything is possible. Literally anything. So
We were talking about it a little bit of how you're hungry right now. You're in the rap mode. What would you like 2022 to look like for you and your music?
just consistency. Just people just know that 2022 I'm staying consistent, and I'm dropping like every 2 weeks. I'm dropping, and
Mhm.
with videos too, like videos, everything. And I got a lot more too in the works with like other artists too that are gonna drop this year. So you're gonna be hearing a lot. I'm trying to just flood the streets this year. Just watch out. Everybody just watch out. Yeah.
Hey, that's right. We're trying to eat out here. So, we
Yeah.
had the most recent release about a week ago. So we got about a week or so before we get the next release.
Definitely. I got a lot of songs in the vault. So I got enough songs to like for the rest of the year I could drop. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Hmm. Is there any last like thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd want to give to the viewers?
Really just if you're watching this, trust me, you could do this. You could be in our position. If you want to be an interviewer like my boy, you could do it. If you want to be a musician, if you want to fly a plane, if you want to do anything, don't let anybody ever tell you can't be anything. Don't let anybody ever tell you can't do this, that, and the third. Not even your mom, not even your dad, not even your friends. Like nobody. This is your life, and you got to make the most of it while we're here. So yeah, if you could take anything from this, I just hope you take that. Yeah, definitely.
Right, bro. So I think we're basically at the point of all the questions I want to get through, analysis, all that. So right before we close out, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for chopping it up with me and giving me a lot of insight for, questions that I've had for a minute, and just, at that point thinking of not even getting to that point now where we can actually talk about it, and even more so with like music and everything, is just like I'm saying, it's still surreal to me. I'm still like geeked out right now. So
Oh,
thank you, bro.
no, thank you for taking the time out to talk to me. I appreciate it. Hopefully we could continue doing this maybe and somewhere in the future. I can't wait. I
That's what I'm
appreciate
saying,
it, bro.
bro. If this goes how it's supposed to and it blows up, and doing what's supposed to do with consistency, then definitely, bro, you're gonna be one of the first people I hit back for a follow-up interview to see what you're doing by then, because we're expecting like heat for 2022, and I'm expecting probably like a lot for the summer as well. I know you're saying you're about to flood the streets with everything, so definitely gonna be on my radar.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Thank you for having me, bro. It means a lot, for real. I won't forget it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
that will basically close out episode 2 for Beyond Bars, presented to you by KCSS 91.9, the Valley's True Alternative. We got more episodes on the way coming up, and that basically be it.
Yes, sir. Yes, man.